out. What? What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and this is Weekly Heat. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't yet. Also, make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But before we jump into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my sock brand, Apothecary. I started this brand with a good friend of mine a couple months ago, and the response that you guys have shown has been incredible. Every drop we've had so far has sold out and sold out very quickly, and that's something that we never expected to happen. But today, I wanted to announce our brand new Black Friday drop that's dropping at 12 a.m. Eastern Time on Black Friday. We have 6 different sock styles dropping, which is the first time we've ever dropped this many different kinds of socks at once. We have 4 different crew length socks with the stripe logo on them, which is one of my favorite logos that we've ever done. The colorways include black and red, heather gray and white and black, and white and green. But in addition to that, we've also got our very first mid-top socks dropping. You guys have been asking for different lengths of socks for a while now, and a couple weeks ago we came out with the no-shows, and this time around we're coming out with some mid-tops, which I'm super excited about. The mid-top socks come in 2 different colorways, heather white and white and black. I'm really hyped on this drop. I think it's one of the best drops we've ever had, and I'm excited for you guys to be able to check out these socks for yourself. So if you would like to be notified as soon as these socks go on sale, you can sign up for our newsletter on apothecary.com, which is linked in the description below, or you can follow us on Instagram at Apothecary. Make sure to be on Apothecary's website at midnight on Friday morning, Black Friday, because that's when they go live. And even though we keep increasing stock, in fact, this is the largest drop we've ever done, make sure to be there right when they drop because they tend to sell out very quickly. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into Weekly Heat. Starting things off, we've got the reveal and the release of a brand new New Balance collaboration, the Atmos Staple New Balance X Racer. Now, the first time that I heard about the X Racer silhouette was a couple months ago when Bodega did their collaboration with New Balance on the shoe. And as far as hiking shoes go, I love it. I've hiked in that shoe like 4 or 5 times. I think it's an excellent sneaker, and the overall silhouette and collab on that silhouette looks great. But now it looks like New Balance once again is using that silhouette as the base of a new collaboration. However, this time it's a 3-way collaboration. This year we've seen a lot of 3-way collaborations, which I don't think was a huge thing a couple years back, and I think is one of those newer trends. The 3 brands working on this shoe are obviously New Balance, because it's their silhouette, Atmos, which is a sneaker store based in Japan, which is essentially like the Foot Locker of Japan, and of course Staple. The shoe comes in an interesting mix of colors. The front of the shoe comes in black and then slowly fades to white and then to pink towards the heel of the shoe. And I think the most obvious detail on the shoe is the staple pigeon on the heel. In addition to that, the shoe also features purple hits on the New Balance logo on the lateral side, as well as a purple tag on the tongue. It's a pretty simple but clean looking collaboration, and I wouldn't be surprised if this shoe sold out very quickly. Unfortunately, if you want this shoe and you don't live in Tokyo, you might be out of luck because this shoe is only releasing in Atmos Tokyo on November 28th. After that, we've got a render of an upcoming YEEZY 500 high, the Frozen Blues. Based on this render, it looks like the upper of this shoe will come in 1 shade of blue. However, I don't think that'll actually be the case. I think they just were trying to keep the render simple. The midsole of the shoe comes in a light tan color, which is pretty similar to a lot of the other 500 midsoles, so they're not really deciding to change things up that much. And even though aesthetically this shoe might not be for everyone, I've got to say from personal experience, I love the way that the 500 highs feel. They're just an incredibly comfortable shoe. I might even go as far as to say that it's one of the most underrated shoes of last year. I'll give you that it's not the prettiest. I totally get that, and I don't think the 500 standard edition is pretty either, but it's not a bad shoe, and if you're interested in it, I think it's worth picking up. According to houseofheat.co, the Adidas YEEZY 500 High Frozen Blues should be releasing sometime in March 2021. Following that up, it looks like we're getting a crazy new Nike Dunk in the way of the Nike Dunk Low Thank You for Caring. Not too much is known about this shoe just yet. However, the name of the shoe would imply that it maybe has something to do with sustainability, with recycling, or something like that. The other reason I say that is because the upper of the shoe seems to be made up of a patchwork of recycled packaging or maybe reusable packaging. That's just my guess though. I really have no idea. I'm just basing it off the name and the way that the sneaker looks. Speaking of the way that the shoe looks, this shoe does bear a striking resemblance to the Nike Dunk Low What This. The upper of the shoe is made up in a ton of different patterns, in a ton of different colors, and they all kind of come together in this odd sort of jumble. I gotta say though, it's a good looking sneaker. Maybe it's just because I like What The shoes, but this sneaker looks dope. I'm so happy that Nike is finally going crazy on dunks again. They've been doing that over the last year, and I hope they keep pushing the envelope with it, because the crazier and crazier these dunks get, the more interesting they get. Unfortunately, not too much else is known about this sneaker. However, it's apparently dropping sometime in January 2021, which is sooner than I would have expected. Continuing on, we've got some official images of the upcoming Nike Dunk High All-Star. Obviously, based on the name and also the patch on the heel of the shoe, this sneaker is coming out around All-Star weekend because it's the All-Star themed Nike Dunk. The shoe comes in a very smooth mint leather accented by a very glossy black patent leather. And I gotta say, it does look a lot like the Tiffany Dunk Highs. Definitely not a bad thing though. In fact, I actually just picked up the original version of that pair in an unboxing video a couple weeks ago. And I've gotta say, a new variant of that shoe coming out is always welcome. So because this shoe is an All-Star weekend themed sneaker, I'm sure this shoe is coming out around All-Star weekend in February of next year. And let's be real, I'm definitely gonna try and grab it. Next up, we've got a render of the upcoming Air Jordan 1 High Bordeaux. Now keep in mind, this image is of course a render, so it's very possible that this shoe won't look exactly like this when it finally releases, but let's hope that it looks like that because that shoe looks sick. Based on this image, it looks like the shoe comes in white leather accented by maroon suede around a majority of the upper, as well as a silver wings logo on the lateral side. But unfortunately, it's very possible that this shoe won't look exactly like this because Jordan Brand has a way of making a colorway sound really good on paper, and then when you see it, you're like, oh, why did you do that? For example, the Shattered Backboard 3.0s. For years, we thought that was gonna be just this incredible sneaker because it was gonna come in leather. And yes, while it did come in leather, you saw the kind of leather it came in. So while this shoe looks incredible in a rendering, I'm hesitant to really fall in love with this sneaker until we see official images of it. And unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna be a while before we see any official images because this shoe isn't slated to release until fall of 2021. Next up, we've got an image from @halfgallery on Instagram of the upcoming Nike Mars Yard 2.0s. Tom Sachs's original Mars Yard is one of the most sought after and most coveted Nike sneakers of all time. And it's not only because the shoe is insanely limited, but it's also because of the history behind it. So the fact that it looks like Nike is releasing an official follow-up to that shoe should get a lot of people excited. Now yes, I know there was that moon boot version, which I guess was sort of a follow-up to the original, but let's be honest, no one loved that shoe. It also was just kind of like a weird white shroud around the original sneaker. I wasn't a fan. This one, however, does look a lot more similar to the original pair, however, there are some minor differences. The main difference, and seemingly the largest difference, is the fact that the outsole actually wraps up onto the toe of the sneaker and comes in a black rubber. It gives the shoe almost like a shell toe or dipped look, which I don't mind, but I think I prefer the way that the original looked. Other than that, the overall construction of the shoe looks pretty similar, at least from this image, and the colorway also seems relatively unchanged, albeit maybe a little bit lighter. Regardless, if the shoe does end up coming out, a lot of people are going to be stoked on it, and it does actually look like this shoe might come out before the end of 2020. In kind of weird news, it looks like there might be a what the Adidas YEEZY 350 V2 coming out at some point, which is nuts. Now just to clarify, this is just a rumor and this is purely based on an image of what could be a sample of a What the 350 V2. There's no hard evidence of this shoe coming out. There's no information on release calendars for this shoe. However, there is a prime knit upper somewhere in the world that looks like it's a What the 350 V2. Now this image is a render of what the shoe could look like if it was ever made, and I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but it's an interesting look. The shoe seems to come in 3 distinct segments. You've got yellow and gray in the front, you've got green and gray in the midfoot, and then you've got maroon and orange on the heel. I've got to say, this is a really weird looking shoe. I wouldn't expect a What the YEEZY to look like this. I wouldn't expect it to be 3 distinct almost segments of the shoe. I would think that the colors are all kind of woven together, almost like what they did with the pair that released last year. What I personally think this picture is testing different prime knit color combinations. I don't think this is ever going to be a real shoe. I could be completely wrong about that, but I just don't see this shoe ever happening. I just think that they were sampling a couple different color variations on prime knit. I think that's all it was. Again, I could be completely wrong about that, and to be fair, Adidas and YEEZY have done even weirder things than this, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I just don't think this shoe is dropping. However, I would love to know your thoughts on this sneaker and whether you'd like to see this What the YEEZY 350 V2 actually release. So make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And then finally, rounding off today's video, we're gonna take a quick look at Jordan Brand's Spring 2021 retro releases. So these shoes were just announced last week, and it looks like we're getting a lot of really great Air Jordan retros next year. I'm not gonna go over all these releases because I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen the entire list. I'm just gonna go over some of my favorites. The first shoe I wanted to cover is the women's Air Jordan 1 Silvertail. This shoe is apparently inspired by spaceflight, which makes sense because the heel of the shoe comes in crinkled silver leather. The overall color blocking of this shoe is very similar to that of the black toe ones, however it replaces the red on the heel with silver. Now like I said, this shoe is apparently a women's exclusive, however unlike a lot of previous women's exclusives, this shoe is releasing up to a size 15 in men's, so if you're a guy or a girl, no matter what size feet you have, you should be good with this shoe. Next up, we've got the University Blue ones. So I talked about this this shoe a couple weekly heats ago, and I've gotta say it's one of the cleanest Jordan 1s to drop next year, at least that we've seen so far. This University Blue Air Jordan 1 comes in a light UNC style blue upper accented by white as well as a black Nike swoosh. Color blocking wise, it's very similar to the Chicago 1s, however it replaces the red with the blue. In my opinion, I think this is going to be one of the hottest Jordan 1s next year, and I think it's going to be one of the most difficult pairs to get. And it looks like this shoe will be releasing around All-Star Weekend on February 20th, 2021. Next up, we've got another Jordan 1 release, this time around in the way of the Bright Volt Jordan 1s. I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is my least favorite Jordan 1 dropping next year that we've seen so far. I think the new take on the shoe with the sort of like black piping around the wings is kind of weird. That said, you might actually be really into this modern take on the Air Jordan 1. I'm just not personally. I also don't love the fact that the upper features some sort of like Volt yellow as well as like a more warm yellow. I think that split is a little weird. Not for me personally, but it's an Air Jordan 1, so I wanted to talk about it. Then returning for the first time since 2007, we've got the highly anticipated Air Jordan 3 Cool Gray. This shoe comes in almost the exact same makeup as the original shoe, however, apparently according to Jordan Brand, the materials have been upgraded. Not sure exactly what that means because I bet you the leathers aren't any more expensive than they used to be. I think that they've just gotten better deals on leather, or maybe they're using a softer leather that just feels better. I don't know, I think it's all marketing BS, but that's just my own opinion. That said, the shoe does look incredible, and if you're like me and you missed out on the last release of this shoe, this is definitely worth picking up. And if you want a pair for yourself or anyone in your family because it's coming in full family sizing, you don't have long to wait because the shoe should be releasing on February 27th, 2021. After that, we've got the University Blue Air Jordan 4s. This shoe comes in almost the exact same shade of blue as the University 1s that we just talked about. However, instead of coming in leather, it comes in suede. In addition to that, this Jordan 4 features a gray midsole with black splatter print, very similar to the white cements, and it features a black outsole. Honestly, this is a super clean Air Jordan 4. I love the way it looks. The only thing I don't like about this sneaker, which kind of sucks because everything else in my opinion is perfect, is the tag on the tongue. I don't know why they had to make it look like this, why they had to extend it and add this big black and red Jordan 23 logo on it. It's just really weird. It doesn't fit with the shoe, and I wish they had left it off. However, if you're trying to grab a pair of these for yourself, which I think I will be doing, I'll just be cutting off that extra tag, this shoe should be releasing on March 6th, 2021. Continuing on, it looks like we're getting a new variant of the Air Jordan 5 Stealth. This Jordan 5 comes in a primarily white leather upper accented by a gray midsole and black shark teeth. It also features a blue sock liner, which honestly really pops. While I'm not in love with this shoe personally, and it's not something I feel like I really need to run out to the store and grab, I know a lot of people will be really into this shoe, especially if they're Air Jordan 5 collectors. And apparently this shoe is dropping near the end of March next year, March 27th, 2021. Next up, we've got an interesting new take on the Air Jordan 5. This Jordan 5 comes in black and looks a lot like the black metallic 5s, however they decided to add 3M reflective material on the upper of the shoe, which is weird. I honestly kind of wish they had just gone for black suede like they usually do. I feel like there was no reason to change things up, but for whatever reason, Jordan Brand felt the need to do so, and they did it. I'm interested to see how well this Jordan 5 does and how interested people will actually be in the shoe. And then the last shoe that I'm going to cover out of Jordan's 2021 spring lineup is the Air Jordan 13 Starfish. This shoe has actually been rumored for a while, and I'm not exactly sure why. This Jordan 13 features a bright white leather upper accented by orange suede around the heel and the midsole of the shoe, and then the overall look is rounded off by a black sock liner and a black outsole. I think it's fair to draw comparisons between this colorway and the shattered backboard colorway, and I think for anyone who missed out on any of the other shattered backboard shoes and they love the Jordan 13, this is a great way to go. Personally, however, I don't feel like I need it in my collection, so it's not something that I plan on picking up, but if you want this shoe, more power to you. And if you're one of those people that wants a pair of these, you should be able to grab one on January 2nd. But that pretty much wraps up Weekly Heat for this week. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on everything that we talked about in today's video, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to check out Apothecary's drop at midnight on Black Friday. It's going to be one of the best drops we've ever had, and I'm super excited about it. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.